Hi guys, so this is an excerpt from Miriam Style Club where I talk about the Sharpened-Soft line recommendations, and the closest Kibbe type to that is soft dramatic. So I sort of dive deep into the line recommendations, I explain what they are, and I also go through some shopping pages and talk about specifically tops. Spend about half the time on tops, and then the other half of the video talking about skirts, pants, dresses, and shoes. And the video is about a half hour long. So this is only an excerpt, and I'll leave a link down below to how you can join Club if you're interested in seeing the full video. Hi guys, so today we are talking about Sharpened-Soft, and the closest Kibbe type to Sharpened-Soft is soft dramatic. And so I want to kind of talk a little bit about what makes Sharpened-Soft what it is, and sort of maybe the differences between Sharpened-Soft in body geometry and in what you would hear about the Kibbe body type online, soft dramatic. So basically there aren't as many differences as there would be for the other types. For example, there's no height restriction for anyone. So in body geometry, there's no height restriction, and in the Kibbe community as well, sharpened or soft dramatic can be any height. So soft dramatics can be short or tall, but in general, Sharpened-Soft does tend to be a little bit taller. They have more substantial bone structure. And so this is the next thing that I want to talk about, is that Sharpened-Soft is really determined by, in body geometry, I've sort of boiled down what is it that makes the Sharpened-Soft type look good in Sharpened-Soft lines, and what is it that makes someone Sharpened-Soft. So sharpened has basically a sharpened bone structure, right? So that's sharpened. And on top of it is a soft physique. And so that's how Sharpened-Soft will differ from, let's say, rounded mixed. The closest is theatrical romantic. I've already made a video on that. So think about how the bone structure differs. So the bone structure for Sharpened-Soft is sharpened. You have sharp angles and you have long lines. And then on top of that, you have a soft physique. So that is what makes Sharpened-Soft. It's not necessarily being an hourglass shape. It's not a certain style. It's not necessarily a certain aesthetic. For soft dramatic, there's a certain sort of aesthetic that you might find online, and depending on your own personal preferences, it could resonate with you or it could not resonate with you. But in body geometry, it's all about the silhouette, it's all about the bone structure, and it's all about the lines of the body. And you can use those lines to make any style that you want, right? And so let's talk now a little bit about the lines, and just do a brief overview before we get into looking at some of the items and discussing how they fit or don't fit the lines. Okay, so Sharpened-Soft has long lines, so that means that nothing is cropped. And you also have clean lines. So that means you don't want things that have a lot of texture to them. You don't want things that are very oversized. You don't want things that are too oversized to the point where they look so baggy that they are sort of, they might look a bit messy on you if things are too baggy. So you want clean lines, you want soft lines, you want for things to be tapered. And you also want for things to be, you want a head to toe look. So you want something that is going to really, the colors and everything work together head to toe. And you don't want to do like the opposite of a head to toe look is a mix and match approach, right? Where it's like you wear a dress with sneakers or something. You don't want to do that if you are Sharpened-Soft, because you have a very distinct set of lines. You also look good in extreme necklines, like high necklines or really low necklines. And that's one way to tell the difference between Sharpened-Soft and beveled soft. So like soft natural versus soft dramatic is that soft dramatic, Sharpened-Soft, will look good in high necklines, while beveled soft will not. So let's see. So we also have long lines. So you want to avoid anything that's cropped. So you want to avoid 3/4 sleeves. You want to avoid crop tops. You want to avoid anything that looks short and boxy. That's going to be basically the most disconnected from you. So we're looking for long, slightly oversized, like slightly just very long, soft lines, lightweight fabrics, bright dynamic colors, and things that have clean lines. So, okay, so now that we kind of have talked about that, let's get into talking about tops, and then we can talk about skirts and dresses and whatever, and other items as well. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so here we have the tops, and let's just go through some of these and discuss how they would work or wouldn't work for Sharpened-Soft. So this one, I would say it wouldn't be the worst for Sharpened-Soft. It's just that it's more for maybe sharpened, it's maybe more for beveled firm, something like that, But it could work for Sharpened-Soft if you want to maybe wear it belted, like for waist emphasis. That would work pretty well. But it's certainly not something that is like, it's not something that'll be too bad, but it's not something that is like a first option either. So you want to avoid anything like this or like this. So this is an example of a short line, and you can see how that kind of cropped look is actually a short line. So it's going to look really poofy on you. Anything that is a short line is going to look really quite poofy and just not right because you have long lines. But the sleeves of it and the neckline of it are pretty nice. So I do wonder if somehow, if you could wear it tucked into a similar colored bottom or something, that you could make it work. But yeah, so there's a lot you can do to make things work. But this one, I would say, since it's cropped, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, or will take a bit more thought to make it work for Sharpened-Soft. This one, of course, you don't want to go for anything like this. It's a very thick, heavy, textured kind of a fabric. If you do wear, it's not that you can't wear sweaters or anything, or you can't wear thicker fabrics. It's just that if you wear sweaters, it's better for them to be really soft, like cashmere type sweaters, that look really soft and luxurious, rather than something that looks thick and heavy and textured. So this, plaid in general, of course, we have geometrics, which you really don't want to be wearing too many geometrics as Sharpened-Soft because you have that softness. So your shapes are more just soft, blended together, sort of rounded, and not geometric. And this one, you would be surprised. Like, I could see with the right bottom, this working for Sharpened-Soft. And the reason for that is because Sharpened-Soft actually looks really wonderful with a high neckline. This is pretty tight and it's pretty fitted, so I would say for the bottom, you really want to pair this with some high-waisted, like wide leg pants in a lighter weight fabric. You don't want to pair this with jeans or something that will also be tight. You want to pair this with something that has a bit more space at the bottom, and then you want for your silhouette overall to be smooth and sort of have smooth lines to it, and not anything jagged or anything coming out, nothing cropped, no cropped pants or no cropped jeans or anything like that. But this actually could work because of the high neckline, and the intricacy as well. You can see that the sleeves have some intricacy to them. So this would work well for Sharpened-Soft. Something like this I wouldn't recommend because it is so oversized. You could wear it, but it's just going to look very, very, very casual on you. And maybe in the bright color you could wear it, like in this color, or otherwise basically in the red. That could work, but it would look very casual on you. And you can do asymmetry at the neckline. It's just that you tend to do better with asymmetry below the waist, okay? So any asymmetry at the neckline could still kind of bring the eye down a little bit too much for you if you are Sharpened-Soft. Of course, this is just a staple, and this is just a staple, so you could wear something like this, but you would be wearing it underneath something. And this is obviously too cropped. This would never work. Something like this also wouldn't work. And this kind of hemline, I would actually be careful with it. This kind of hem with the little rounded detailing. This is more for rounded mixed. Because, or rounded, like someone with smaller shapes. So this type of like hemline, even though you might think, oh, this is kind of like intricacy or something, these shapes are just too small. So remember that the difference between your lines, Sharpened-Soft, Sharpened-Soft, soft dramatic versus theatrical romantic, rounded mixed, okay? The difference between your lines and those lines is that your lines have larger shapes, okay? So these kinds of small shapes are not really going to work for you. Alright guys, so that is it. That's all I have for the excerpt. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are interested in joining club and seeing the full video, I'll leave a link down below to how you can join, and leave some comments down below, leave some questions as usual if you have any, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. Okay, bye.